Hello again. Bruce Springsteen was born in 1949. In March 2012, he delivered a speech at a music and media conference in Austin, Texas, and he said, "Every musician has their genesis moment. Mine was 1956, the Ed Sullivan Show. It was the evening I realised that a white man could make magic, that you did not have to be constrained by your upbringing, by the way you looked, or by the social context that oppressed you. You could call upon your powers of imagination, and you could create a transformative self. Remember, it wasn't just the way Elvis looked, it was the way he moved that made people crazy, pissed off, driven to screaming ecstasy and profane revulsion. That was television. Elvis was the first modern 20th century man, the precursor of the sexual revolution, of the civil rights movement, outsider art that could be embraced by mainstream popular culture. Television and Elvis gave us a full access to a new language, a new form of communication, a new way of being, a new way of looking, a new way of thinking, and a new way of hearing music. Once Elvis came across the airwaves, once he was heard and seen in action, you could not put the genie back in the bottle. After that moment, there was yesterday and there was today." He also said that, talking specifically about the track Hound Dog, "When I heard it, it just shot straight through to my brain. I realised suddenly that there was more to life than what I'd been living. I was then in pursuit of something. There had been a vision laid out before me. You were dealing with the pure thrust, the pure energy of the music itself. I was so very young, but still it hit me like a thunderbolt." He asked his mum for a guitar, and she went and rented one, and the young Bruce Springsteen first tried strumming his first guitar. It would take a few years for Bruce Springsteen to become an overnight success. He started out with a heavy blues rock band called Steel Mill, which recorded a few demos and was offered a recording contract, but he turned it down. He then went through his Bob Dylan phase as a solo acoustic recording artist, writing a lot of songs, as he has done throughout his career. Most of them he didn't use. His second album, The Wild, the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle, surprises people who've never heard it. That's all I'll say. It's worth listening to. It was his third album that really took off, Born to Run. And of course, if you look at the front cover, Elvis is there. The cover depicts him leaning up against the back of the saxophone player, Clarence Clemens, and on his black leather coat is a large badge. It is in fact the badge of the King's Court fan club of New York. And this, of course, famously is the fan club started by the parents of Ed from the King's Court channel here on YouTube. Now, whether Elvis was a member of the club or how he obtained the badge, I don't know. The badge can be seen more clearly in some of the other shots taken that day. After release of the album, he famously appeared on Time and Newsweek magazine at the same time, and he was proclaimed the future of rock and roll. He then began writing and recording the follow-up album, which wouldn't appear for 3 years. Now, if you listen to the quite recently released songs that he wrote and recorded early on, they're very upbeat, Motown-sounding rock and roll songs. Would have been a great album. But the album that eventually came out was called Darkness on the Edge of Town. A very brooding, sombre, powerful, hard, heavy album. So what had happened? Of course, Elvis had died, and I do wonder if that's actually what changed this album. In 1976, Bruce Springsteen was performing in Memphis, and 3 o'clock in the morning, him and his guitar player Steve Van Zandt decided to take a taxi out to Graceland. Now, he's told this story several times, and there are subtle variations in the way he tells it. But it goes They arrived at the gates and saw that there were lights on in the house, and Bruce got very excited and declared that this was his big chance to meet his idol, and so he jumped over the wall and ran towards the house. He has said that as he was running, he thought, what am I going to say to my hero, to my inspiration? He arrived at the door and was about to knock when a security guard appeared behind him and asked what he wanted. And he said, is Elvis home? And the guard said, no, he's in Lake Tahoe at the moment. And so Bruce said, when he comes back, could you tell him that Bruce Springsteen came to see him? He may not know who I am, but I've been on Time and Newsweek magazine. And the guard said he would, and escorted him back to the gates. So that was his big chance to see Elvis, and it never happened. Now, George Klein has said on a radio show that Elvis did know who Bruce Springsteen was and liked him. He said Bruce came on the scene very quickly, hard and heavy, and Elvis liked him because he was a rock and roller. Now, Bruce did finally get to see Elvis in concert in Philadelphia, 28th of May 1977. And afterwards he apparently began writing the song Fire. Now, it is said that he wrote the song for Elvis, intending to send it to him. Whether he actually did send it, we don't know, but I don't think Elvis would have ever got to see it. Bruce did record a demo of it, and he then gave the song to the Pointer Sisters, who had a hit with it. He later released a live version of it, which you may have heard. It's a good song, but the demo, his original demo, is very different. During the sessions, Bruce wrote a song called Come On Let's Go Tonight. The song eventually transformed into Factory, which appeared on the Darkness album. But the original lyrics of the song go, put on your black dress, baby, and put your hair upright. There's a party way down in Factory Town tonight. I'll be going down there if you need a ride. Come on, let's go tonight. How many men fail, their dreams denied. They walk through these streets with death in their eyes. The man on the radio says Elvis Presley died. Come on, let's go tonight. Well, some came to witness and some came to weep. Drawn by death's strange glory, they stood in the street, drawn together forever in the promise of an endless sleep. Come on, let's go tonight. That set of lyrics eventually became another song called Johnny Bye Bye. Bruce speaks about Elvis a lot in his concerts, and he tells the story of when he heard that Elvis had died. He said, a friend of mine called me to say that he died. It was so hard to understand how somebody whose music came in and took away so many people's loneliness and gave so many people a reason and a sense of the possibility of living could have in the end died so tragically. Bruce has recorded a studio version of Johnny Bye Bye, and he also includes it in his concerts, always with a story beforehand of trying to meet Elvis. So the new lyrics go, there's a party tonight down in Memphis town. I'll be going down there if you need a ride. The man on the radio says Elvis Presley died. We drove down to Memphis, the sky was hard and black. Up over the ridge came a white Cadillac. They threw out all his money and they laid him in the back. A woman cried from the roadside, oh, he's gone, he's gone. They found him slumped up against the drain, with a whole lot of trouble running through his veins. Bye bye, Johnny, Johnny, bye bye. You didn't have to die, you didn't have to die. Bruce has also recorded and sung live several versions of Follow That Dream, but he has over time changed the verses whilst retaining the chorus. He has also sung live Mystery Train, Good Rockin' Tonight, Heartbreak Hotel, Jailhouse Rock, Blue Suede Shoes, Blue Christmas, Suspicious Minds, Hound Dog, Ain't That Loving You Baby, It's Now or Never, Don't Be Cruel, Wear My Ring Around Your Neck, Love Me Tender, Viva Las Vegas, Count Out Falling in Love, Burning Love, and All Shook Up. And probably others. In the spring of 1995, Sting invited Bruce to perform at the annual Rainforest Foundation benefit show, and he told him that the theme of that year's show would be Elvis. Bruce laughingly responded, "Oh no, because when you sing Elvis you lose. You're never going to sing those songs better than he sang them." Of course, he did do several covers that night. He then sat down and wrote a song which he's only sung live once, as far as I know, which was at Memphis in 1996. It's a comic song called I'm Turning Into Elvis. Some of the lyrics: "I went downstairs, I kissed the babysitter. She screamed and I told her it was just the beast in me. On my way out of the house, I shot out my TV. I went down to the corner luncheonette and said fried peanut butter and banana man will do. I'm turning into Elvis and there's nothing I can do. I drove straight to Vegas. I stopped in the first good old stripper bar. Found me a little hooker that just like Anne Margaret, and we rumbled in my sports car. Well, me and my drinking buddies turned my loving home into a freaking zoo. I'm turning into Elvis and there's nothing I can do. He came to me last night in a dream, looking like he did in 1957. He said, son, the guitar is a wonderful thing, but it can be the devil's friend. On the other hand, there's sex star women, millions of dollars, and anything you want to do. I'm turning into Elvis and there's nothing I can do." As I said, Bruce mentions Elvis a lot of times in concerts, and he always gets a great response from the audience when he does. So, a few other quotes from some concerts. "I couldn't imagine anyone not wanting to be Elvis Presley. An artist like Elvis is, rather than pretending when he goes out on stage, he's actually pretending when he's at home to be normal. When he goes out on stage, that's who he actually is. Elvis Presley is all there is, there just ain't no more. Everything starts and ends with Elvis. He wrote the book. He has everything to do and not to do in the music business. There have been a lot of tough guys, there have been a lot of pretenders, there have been a lot of contenders, but there's only one king. He was as big as the whole country itself, as big as the whole dream. He just embodied the essence of it, and he was in mortal combat with the thing. Nothing will ever take the place of that guy." Rolling Stone said that the three big, iconic American recording artists were Elvis Presley, Bob Dylan, and Bruce Springsteen. So that nicely brings the three together and brings me to the end of this. So till next time, bye for now.